as trustee Bacon said, this place is full of dirt, and I'll be glad when we can get some changes done in our town center. So this is the second year that I haven't had heat in my office, so if you do come, they are working on getting it done. So the 4 heaters won't burn your feet. Still welcome to come in here and sit with me. So I'm glad that we're working on that done. And the heating here,
I think you're right.
right.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay. Yes.
Director Justin. Thank you, Salesman McCanny, thank you. Can you get a quote, don't buy it yet, right, on what it would take to house enough salt to salt the village? If we can only hold 200 and we're out every time it snows, then maybe we should look at, I'm not sure if it's that little raggedy building over by my house.
Yes.
And I say raggedy because when I'm walking in the summer, if it's windy, those things are blowing, and I do pray that one does not fly out and come and cut my head off, because that's like, it's sheet metal, it'll be flying through the air. So can you get a quote and look at redoing that? Maybe we can find a grant?
Trustee Wilson, you are correct. It is the one you look at. When I first got here, we found out we were being fined by the EPA, $1,000. You remember that? And I also presented the board, well, I presented the manager and the board a book with all the remodels and everything that we needed to do for that facility. I don't know if you still have it. I have it. It was running close to 60 grand too.
Okay, so if you gave us a book, maybe we could take out a little excerpt and just look at that. Instead of, I'm not sure, I don't recall a book. Because
I gave you 3 proposals to have that redone a year ago, yes. I can get it to you again.
Give it to, yeah, you can get it to the board.
I sure will. I sure will.
Well, it don't have to be updated, right? Because if it was a year ago, all the prices have changed, yes.
Probably so.
Okay, thank you. All the new trustees need one. Any others? Next.
So I just do a report. The village has been going through a lot of changes, in my opinion, over the last 6 or 7 months, and I think a lot of changes we've been going through have been very favorable for the village. As people look at news media and they look at articles in regards to University Park, they see the negative in those reports. And in my opinion, I see positive things in those reports. We see a village that's taking accountability for the actions of the past. We see the village stepping forward and being transparent in what's going on with the financial condition of the village, the potential misuse and malfeasance of TIP funds and various other things. What I find amusing is there's a news article out there by the Southtown says, Will County Treasurer calls for Will County Board to sue University Park and discuss a $1.3 million TIP 2 transaction that occurred in 2011. The funny thing is that transaction was reported by an agent of the village with my authority to the Will County Treasurer's office, and they would have never known about $1.3 million being taken out of TIP 2 and placed in the general fund. But this is another example how people spin the positive accountability that our village does and try to turn it into negative. And it's so unfortunate and sad that the media and even other government agencies, county government, local government, state government, regardless, will take the opportunity to beat up on a small little town that they think they can take advantage of and put out negative media to inflate their incumbent or future campaign for Will County Treasurer, thinking that him writing a letter to the Will County Board saying to sue a municipality that actually came and said, hey, we made a mistake and we want to rectify it. I find that to be insulting. I find it to be amusing because we're doing things the right way, and I honestly, and I find it doing a disservice to our residents, because the residents need to know the truth. They need to know what's going on in our town, and we do that through transparency. we have been more transparent in the last 6 months than this village has been transparent ever in a very, very long time. There's been a lot of transparency out of the village manager's office and out of the finance department, because I feel that evidence or items that show any type of financial shortcomings or indiscretions should be known, should be forwarded to the appropriate authority for investigation, as well as it should be shared with the residents so they know the financial condition of their village. In saying that, I ask the board to please remain patient. We're making a lot of positive strides financially. I will tell you, I received an outstanding email this weekend from an audit firm that we're looking at. We ended up revisiting the audit firm situation. So we had an audit firm that came before the board. We had a previous audit firm that the village had before, and we went, and I actually, to be smart, I went to a third audit firm to have them come in and look at our financial condition. That third audit firm came in, that's independent of IRH, independent of the board, independent, hasn't worked with anybody that's been dealing with our financial issues. They came in, they looked at our books, and they actually said, for the first time in a long time, that if these steps are taken, we can actually have an unqualified opinion in our 2016 audit. Now that information is good information, because if you look at all the qualified opinions we've had over the last several years, I think this is a good stride that we're making. So in saying that, I personally do not count the village out. I don't say the village is down. I don't say we're going in receivership. I'm not saying that we're going bankrupt. I say the village is taking the appropriate steps to take the appropriate action for change. And I think that's the positive thing that we need to look at. Everybody wants this doomsday thought process. It's doomsday. And I ask the taxpayers, you know, I have certain taxpayers that say, you're going into receivership, or you're going to be taken over by Will County, or you're going to be taken over by the state. And I say, and ask yourself, do you understand the quality of living that you would have if the county or the state was to take over Little University Park? You're endorsing to get, you say you have bad government here, that's what people say, but you're endorsing this government from being taken over by a larger county and a larger state that Little University Park really doesn't mean much to. And how I say that, in my 6 months of being interim manager and village manager, I've had to get down and beg for resources from our county and our state because they don't respect us as a municipality. And that's just the honest truth. So we have to get out here and lobby. Our trustees and our mayor have to get out here and get guidance, get support, get grants from Cook County, getting grants from Will County. Right now, we're working on a grant with the Department of Agriculture, that haunted house that people talk about on University Parkway near Central. We're working on a grant to get a new fire department, police department, public works facility built at 100%. No charge to the village. And the grant is specifically for small towns with demographics like University Park and with financial conditions such as University Park. So we can do something here if we put our mind to it. We can make change. Now, this is not guaranteed we're going to get this grant, but for even the Illinois Department of Agriculture to say, hey, we want to come out and look at that property that the village owns, and we may even consider helping you out, I think that's a great stride from what we were dealing with 2 years ago. Think about where we were in February of 2016. We were laying off employees at laying off employees at the police department and various other places. Downsizing, reducing salaries, moving people around, demolishing the entire finance department, getting rid of the entire finance department, which caused us to be 2 years behind in doing our books, causing us not to be able to be qualified to even get an audit done. Now to a point where I have an audit firm saying, wow, your 2016, not 2017, your 2016 audit may be a possibility we can get you an unqualified opinion. And guess what? If I can get an unqualified opinion in 16, that means I can get an unqualified for 17 too. So we're making the right strides. But I'm asking the board, I love the dynamics of this current board. You guys are working together. You guys are communicating more. But I need my trustees to be on top of specific initiatives. I have trustees that come to me, call me every day. Each one of you all communicate with me about your initiatives. And I say, keep pushing your initiatives. Keep focusing on public safety, Trustee Brooks. Trustee McMillan, the jack of all trades, the mayor, always into everything. But she cares about the village and wants the things to be done right. Yeah. Trustee Wilson, shoot, she loves finances. And she wants to know the evidence of what's going on with the money. And I want to show her where the money's going. You know, Trustee Liz Williams, bypass, overpass, side pass, anywhere pass. You know, Trustee Payton, economic development, Oscar Brown, public safety, you know, and various other initiatives. What I'm saying here is, and I'm not saying this just to be a show or throw a party out here on behalf of our public servants. I'm saying that every one of these individuals have a gift and they have a skill that they're good at. And everybody doesn't need to be the same. But I say this here, what I'm seeing is change. Before May, I saw people being called vulgarities up here during an open board meeting. I saw yelling and shouting through executive session outside the window. I saw trustees walking out of the meeting in an open meeting, just walking out the door and driving off and leaving. There's no dramatics here. And they all sit here and agree to disagree. They may vote nay, but when they walk out of here, you don't see them pounding each other down. Right. So there's unity here, okay? And I'm not saying that in 2019 nothing will happen, and I really don't care what happens in 2019. I work on what's going on in 2018, what's going on today. So I don't have time to think about what's going to happen in 2019. This village needs the support of its residents. Yes. The employees need the support of the residents of this village because these employees are working nonstop without the support, without the manpower they're used to having. I said in a news article that we're living, you know, living off caviar on a bologna diet. That was really true. That's sincere. You had departments that were overloaded with employees. You had departments that were underloaded with employees. And you still are getting production out these departments. You're getting production out of police. You're getting production out of fire. You're getting out of production out of Parks and Recs and IT and Public Works. We're working more with little. And so what we want is the support of the residents and our elected officials and knowing that we're doing the very best job possible to get done. We will get through this. I know this for a fact. We will get through this. But we have to stay focused. And that's my whole thing today. And the reason I'm talking so much today is I've seen so much out there. I've seen so much negativity that's explored. I see so much divisiveness from the members of the public, people outside the public, people in other communities and municipalities that want University Park to fail. And in my opinion, that motivates me for us to succeed because we have to show that we're going to be the premier village. Because you have villages like Ford Heights and other villages that are in worse shape than us, but they want to compare University Park to Ford Heights. We're nowhere near or close to being Ford Heights. Nowhere at all. This is the first time we're actually showing financial responsibility to our industrial park partners, and we're paying out our TIF reimbursements. They're behind, but we're paying them out, and we're going to start paying them out in a timely manner. So we want to look at those things, and we want to stay motivated, and we want you all to know that we are working for you. And that's the best thing that we can do is do our job. And people say, oh, he doesn't live in the village. But I assure you, I'm a vested member of the village. I might as well live here. I work here 8 to 12 hours a day. I answer cell phone calls at midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning, all times of night. I'm sending out emails on the weekend. And I'm here more than the average person. So in saying that, I am a member of the village. I am a member of the University Park family. Because I have property, or because some of my employees don't have property here, does not mean they're not a part of the University Park family, nor that they don't have the best interests of this town at heart. Because I know I bleed and I cry University Park. because every day is a new struggle. Every day is something that comes up that is a new mystery, a new discovery, and it's never positive. There's always something negative. So we're working positively through this, and I just want to share that with the public and the board and our staff and let you all know to keep up the good work. And we are going to move in the right direction, and we're going to get through this audit, and we're going to get past May, and we're going to keep moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Next. Thank you.
Village manager, and the mayor has said it all. He was on the phone with me through all the football games this weekend.
And while in Mexico.
While he was in Mexico, and for, I think he called me, 6 or 8 times this weekend. But as far as your tips, we only have one more tip to pay to have you completely caught up. That's Exeter. We talked with them today. They're sending us the back data so that we can assure that what we're paying them is appropriate. We'll be sending that over to your attorney before the end of the week, and then everybody will be paid. You've got about $30 million in your tip, so it's not what people think. We looked at it today just to make sure that there's money also to continue to pay your developers, because I've had calls, a lot of calls from your developers, but I refer them all over to my buddies so they can harass them. We are almost through with the forensic audit. We're just waiting to get a few of your minutes. We sent those over and requested them just to make sure that certain payments were approved by the board. We're also getting the fund accounts completed and getting ready to work on the general ledger. So we're moving right along. We have to inventory your fixed assets because that'll be a part of your audit as well. We've asked for that information. And we brought on another accountant who will be working probably from our offices, but working with Marie to make sure that the fund accounts are all completed in a timely manner. So it looks like everything's moving along well, and we'll be through, and in April, we can throw a party.
All right. Woo! Thank you. John, do you have any?
Yeah, I just want to say Manager Fay is holding our feet to the fire on this. And we understand that it's critical for the village to get these audits done. And even more importantly, as Manager Pate said, to come through the 2016 audit with an unqualified opinion, that would speak volumes for the village in terms of getting the financial affairs in order here. And so I just want to say again, we understand the criticality of getting these audits done for the village to move forward in a positive direction financially. So the work that we're doing, we've got, as Mr. Rogers said, we've got several accountants working on it, including myself. We're also going through documentation, getting that in order for the audit, and that's important too, to have that source documentation available for the audit firm. So a lot of effort is going into this, and we fully expect to have this ready by April. So,
thank you very much.
Okay.
Next. Thank you very much, Mayor Covington, board members, residents. You know, I'm starting not to make a comment because it seems like the treasurer always getting people up in uproar. But I'm gonna make the comment, okay? I know that Trustee Wilson had I noticed that she had a lot of comments about Bill's payroll. And we must remember, Mayor Covington, I believe she brought me here for one reason, and that is for transparency and accountability. Me and Mayor Covington, we spoke about this last week, right, Mayor Covington, about me being on the bank as a bank signatory, okay? I know that each and every last board member except Mayor Covington voted me off as a signatory. I'm guessing because that, you know, they say that the treasurer has too much power here. But, you know, this is being a signatory on those banks for the treasurer is very important. I feel it's very important because a lot of those questions that Trustee Wilson was asking could have been answered by the treasurer of the village. You know, I just hope and pray that Mayor Covington does put that back on the agenda, and you guys think about this before you vote. That this could, help the village as far as, making the treasurer a signature on the bank statements, and then also too making sure that, if I'm there at the village hall signing checks, I can actually see these purchase orders, and making sure that, before a check is signed, that this is a legitimate check. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that the administration, is not doing, their job, but I'm just saying that this is the reason why the treasurer is here, to be a check and balance for the village. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anita? Ms. Jenkins, sorry.
Good evening, Board Mayor, and I'd like to thank you very much for this opportunity, again, to be your village communications. Over the last 3 weeks, every day is something new, but there is a visual response now from the station, thanks to Johan at Comcast and Daryl Bolton and Midwest Digital. Mayor has connected with those people. And so you do see something on the screen now. So I just would like to thank Public Works over the past week, who he's come in with his team, even on the weekend, to secure building security for me, and as well as surveillance, and I thank you very much for that. I've done an inventory of the station, and based on the fact that I wasn't there before, I truly don't know what was there, what wasn't there, but I do have, I have compiled that list for the chief to look at, and as well as worked with IT department on the connectivity between Comcast, us, and the residents. Based on the information that I received from Johan at Comcast, TV4 broadcast to University Park only. In my experience in ad sales several years ago, you could purchase advertising for the South Suburban market, which included 88,000 households, which had neighboring towns as well, Lansing, Thornton, etc. But I believe that since things have advanced, we are now segmented just in University Park, which will then you would need to look at your digital conversion over with Comcast and with the cable station, and your actual reach, looking at who has Hulu, who has Dish, who has, those things when you look at moving forward more digitally. I'll be privileged to go to a social media workshop for municipal leaders this week, which will give me the information that I need to look at Facebook and social media to put the village more in a positive light. And again, thanks Public Works Gary again for supplying me with a SD card tonight. So I did a dry run of the taping today, so hopefully when we go back, it's gonna be working okay, but it seems to be working good. So also, we'll be looking, I've contacted other television stations in the area based on the recommendations of others to look at how their station runs, how their automation runs. So over the next week, I will be visiting those stations and making sure that we have the simplest form, but the most clearest form to communicate and broadcast the meetings and community bulletins with Park and Rec and other community events based on board approval. And then the last thing is I'll be looking to speak with the school board and Natalie Nash on taking the school board meetings to connect us with the school board. Thank you.
Also, question,
Yes, oh,
did you contact Ron from Payroll Types?
yes, I'll be seeing him next week and as well as Old Park next week.
Okay, and there is a inventory that was taken.
Okay.
Yeah, someone has that, and I'll make sure you get that.
Okay.
And when I came over there, we did realize something T-paid, and I do really want to put an investigation out on it, because remember all the 3 boxes that we reviewed?
Yes, that's
There
right.
were new cameras, but they were empty. We do have plastic bags where the carrying cases were, they're brand new, still there, but the other things are missing. Trustee Milton Payton and myself and some more people, we do know what was down there, some of the things, and, you know, we can give you an update on, I can as far as the most recent, but we remember what we have. And there are, like I said, some of the things down there, the tripod that was there, they didn't take, that's one of the things they didn't take. It's very valuable, and we can put that, sell that on eBay if that's so permissible. Sure. Then we can do that. Also, another class, Southsburg Mayor Managers had a meeting last Thursday, as I spoke, and there was someone that came from they do the studio for Empire, and they met with all the mayors, and they said that they're looking for an area that we talked about, that they're looking for an area because what's his name? Mr. Hanks was over in Glenwood, they shot a studio over there. They're looking for something that we have.
Oh,
So I will put you in touch with her as well.
Okay.
And there's another event that I want you to connect, I'll give you all her information. So she said, I told her about our kids that started down there.
Yes.
And the connection, also, before you came on board, Ms. Keisha over at Governor's Day.
Yes, ma'am. I spoke with her by email today.
Good.
Mhm.
Because
And,
they're gonna do a proposal for us.
okay, good. She wants to talk on her phone first before we meet in person.
So they came over and viewed the cable station, and they looked and they're very impressed, because we used to use it before with Eddie.
Okay,
So they have a program, and they're gonna give us a proposal, so please stay on time.
I will.
Nina,
Yes,
And our liaison here.
thank you for your very detailed, giving me re-exposure to the cable station, because all of my kids went through the cable station, and I appreciate your hard work and your effort and your inventory, and I know what was in there before.
Okay.
Now I know what's in there now, and it's a market difference. It's a difference it's amazing. But I appreciate your due diligence in this whole process, and you bringing the cable station alive once again. And I'm proud of you for doing that, and thank you very much for all of your work and effort in doing that.
Okay, I look forward to
Oh,
talking.
last but not least, would you tell us a little of your background?
I have my bachelor's degree, a bachelor's of science in mass communications, television, broadcast media. I just was always in Park and Rec, so I was always with the kids. My history, when I worked for Jones Intercable in customer service, and then I went to advertising sales in Naperville. And I was one of the top 10 salespeople for advertising sales in the Naperville and Aurora market. So I have extensive background in cable, specifically cable, with television, and then just a lot of experience in contracts, sales and negotiations. We were talking about revenue, that might be a possibility, advertising sales is revenue. And I've just always been, had something to do with television. I just took a detour being a mom, so.
But thank you.
Yes, and it is nice to have like a full circle moment with it as well, so I'm very enthusiastic.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that. board members, anyone have input? Trustees Williams?
This was just this short. I would like to say, Keely, I think you're doing a good job of getting people together, doing social things. That's one good thing to keep their minds together. So thank you for that. Public Works, Gary Richardson, I think you did a good job when the snow fell this summer. Very good. You got out there, you got it up, and it was noticeable. So that's good too. I also wanted to say, Manager Payton, I think you're doing a hell of a job. You really are working, and you're working for us, this university, this not university, this community, and I see it. Keep it going. Appreciate that. Neva, I think that you're doing a good job. When you started with the kids and now you got this camera going, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. Then I also want to say to the residents, the ones that's here and the ones that's watching on television, UPS is hiring. All you have to do is go to the internet, pull them up, fill out your application, and put it in. And good luck. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Williams. Trustee Wilson?
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it short. Just a reminder that baseball registration is happening right now. Every Wednesdays, January 10th, oh, that's kind of over. January 10th, 24th.
I'm sorry. I don't wonder where I'm struggling.
There we go. 10th to 24th, and Thursday, February 1st and 8th at University Park Library, 6 p.m. to 7:30. Saturdays at Creekmore Middle School, 12 to 3. We'll be accepting registrations through March 11th. You can email uprangers@outlook.com, or you can call 708-733-5843. Again, that's 708-733-5843. Baseball registration goes through March 11th. I know it's super cold right now, and snow and ice are still falling. But I do environmental health and safety, so I'm staying on these trees. And I know the first step is to do a tree inventory. I would like to see the tree inventory. I think I've requested it a couple times. And one reason is I'm talking to other developments, other towns. The ash borer tree has ruined everything south of 80. So all towns are in the same predicament. And so I'm trying to spearhead it with the other towns and say, hey, let's do this program. But we have to be doing it. So I need a tree inventory to show them what we're doing. We need a tree inventory. We need to say, these trees on this street are damaged throughout UP. These are the ones with X's that we've removed. These are the ones with X's that we still need to remove, and then make a plan to get them done.